بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقال نسوة في المدينة امرأة العزيز تراود فتاها عن نفسه قد شغفها حبا إنا لنراها في ضلال مبين. And women in the city said, the wife of the governor is seducing her youthful slave. The love for him has arrested her. Surely we see her in open error. Continuing, mashallah, from this very amazing story of Sūrah Yūsuf. Today is the 6th dars on this topic, mashallah. What happens here now is that the women of Misr, the news somehow reached the women of the town. Now, each one, which is the habit of the women, began to gossip amongst themselves, and they all expressed their disbelief. Okay, how can a married woman of such a noble class, a minister of finance's wife, Aziz Misr, a grand lady, a notable lady, how can she possibly stoop so low and fall in love with a slave that she had purchased from the marketplace? So they felt it very shameful, and they felt that she has stooped really low and she's in a very vile, low act. So Imam Maqatil rahmatullahi in the tafsir has mentioned that these women, there was many women, but in particular there was 5 women. Now these 5 women, they were the wives of the notable men in society as high class people, because Zulaykha's husband was Aziz Misr, Minister of Finance. He was a high ranking person, balki he was the most authoritative person in the whole of Egypt. So his wife, she's a notable lady, a grand lady. So even her friends, Ahliya, they were very high ranking, posh, rich, kind of grand people. So they began to say, okay, Yusuf alayhi Islam's ishq and muhabbat has pierced her heart. And the word Allah uses is shaghafaha hubba. Shaghaf is the outer layer of the heart, according to Imam Suddi rahmatullahi. So they said the love for Yusuf has ripped through the outer cover of her heart and penetrated deep within the depth of her heart. Subhanallah. So the love of Yusuf alayhi Islam has really trapped her this time, and she's become infatuated by him. The love has taken over her, and because of this, inna lanaraha, we see her now fi dhalalin mubin, in open error. She's in a big mistake. Okay, how was she fallen in love? High lady, low person. How is this possible? How was she doing this? So she's in big error here. How could she fall in love with a slave? This was looked down upon in society. So Allah Ta'ala then says, فَلَمَّا سَمِعَتْ بِمَكْرِهِنَّ. So when she heard of their crafty comments, Zulaykha, she found out, okay, the women are talking about me. فَلَمَّا سَمِعَتْ بِمَكْرِهِنَّ أَرْسَلَتْ إِلَيْهِنَّ. So what she did, she extended an invitation to them. أَرْسَلَتْ إِلَيْهِنَّ وَأَعْتَدَتْ لَهُنَّ. And then she arranged for them مُتَّكَأً, a comfortable place to sit. وَآتَتْ كُلَّ وَاحِدَةٍ مِّنْهُنَّ. And she gave each one of them سِكِّينَ, a knife, a sharp knife. وَقَالَتْ اخْرُجْ عَلَيْهِنَّ. And she said to Yusuf alayhi Islam, come in before them. Subhanallah. So Imam in Tafsir Madhari Qadi Sanawala Panipati rahmatullahi says that when Zulaykha heard the backbiting of these ladies, and it's rampant in women to backbite and slander, so when they backbited and began talking about her, she found out. So she sent somebody to call these grand ladies, come, I'm going to prepare a beautiful food, a lavish feast, a banquet, and we'll sit down and we'll dine together. وَأَعْتَدَتْ لَهُنَّ مُتَّكَأً. A beautiful, nice arrangement I will make for you. Ibn Ishaq rahmatullahi says here, Ajib Nukta of Tafsir, he says these women deliberately said this regarding Zulaykha, so they could also get a chance to see the husn of Yusuf alayhi salam. This was their intention. It wasn't just to backbite her. They wanted to see Yusuf alayhi salam, but they couldn't because he's a slave, she's a mistress, he stays within the 4 walls of her palace, her mansion, her fortress. How can, we've heard about his beauty, how can we get to see him? Chalo, let's cook up a story, let's talk bad about her, so maybe she'll call us in so we'll be able to see her as well. This was their intention. Allahu Akbar. So they would get a chance to catch a glimpse of Hazrat Yusuf alayhi Islam because they've heard about his husn. Zulaykha here, she had told one of her very close friends as Razdan. Razdan is that friend who you share secrets with. And women, as I mentioned yesterday, they always have one friend who they share all the secrets with. If you tell a lady something, she will definitely have told one of her close friends. If any lady has got a relationship with any boy, she will have shared it with one of her close friends, as we explained yesterday. So when she's told this to her very close friend, women's habit, that close friend told everybody else. They say if you want, for example, if you want the whole of Burnley to know something what happened in one place, go and tell a lady that matter the night before. And by the morning, the whole of Burnley will know. And tell her as well, okay, make sure you don't tell anybody. Add this to it as well. And she will say, don't worry, I won't tell anybody. And by the morning, the whole world will know. This is exactly what happened with Zulaykha, as the Quran mentions here. So she disclosed it. Because she disclosed it, Ibn Ishaq, rahmatullahi, in his tafsir mentions, this is why it is called makr. Makr, craftiness, guile, cunningness, slyness, shrewdness. So Zulaykha, she's also a lady, she knows how women work. So she's arsalat, she called for them, Rasul, and this is mahzuf, hidden word. She sent a messenger to call them. And what she did, muttaka'an, she made a beautiful setting for them. Muttaka'an has a few meanings. One meaning is that a comfortable eating, a comfortable place to sit down. Muttaka'an also means to use a knife. The Egyptians had a habit of using sharp knives each time they would eat. Whenever they had food, meat, they always used knife. They never ate with their hand. They always would use sharp knives, muttakan. Another meaning of muttakan is fruits, to cut oranges or lemons. So, Barahal, the tafsir mentioned, she decorated the floor with big heavy rugs, luxurious cushions, stools, chairs, and then she covered them up with leather seats, made it very comfortable, and then she called it the Egyptian women, the Niswa. When they all came, they sat down, they had the food, women were talking, had a bit of a gossip. Now they know in the back of their mind why they have come. Zulaykha knows why I have called them. But they're not talking about this matter. They're eating food, talking about this, that, the other. And then she said, right, it's time for dessert. Bring in the fruits. So she told one of her servants, bring in the fruits. She deliberately gave them very sharp knives. Here, because they have a habit of using knives a lot in the Egyptian world at that time, she gave them a sharp knife each. She put desserts as fruits in front of them. They were all relaxed against the cushions, chilling out, relaxing. They began to cut fruit, and then Zulaykha said to Yusuf, "Ikhruj alayhin, come out now in front of them." So imagine the scene, they're totally unexpected. They don't know he's going to come out now. Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam, in the tafsir mentioned, he had absolutely no idea what is going on. He had no idea of their vain intentions, what they're going to make me walk past them, display me in front of them so they can catch a glimpse of me. She was the mistress. Her husband, Aziz the mistress, was the master. He was a slave who they purchased from the marketplace. They paid so much for him. They weighed him in gold and silver and sheets of musk to buy him, bring him home. So he obeyed their command and he came out. In the Khirtul Janan, Hazrat Mawlānā Sājid Khan Sahib Safdar Rahmat says, fulfilling the hukm of Zulaykha, he walked by in front of them without even looking. So all the women were sitting on one side. He walked along here, straight past, and he was going to go and sit on the chair which usually he would sit on. Tafsir Madhari Qadi Sahib mentions that all the women were shocked, they lost their senses and they were taken aback because of the beauty, the captivating beauty of Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salatu islam. In Hazrat Abu Shaykh rahmatullahi, he mentioned in his tafsir the call of Hazrat Ishaq ibn Abdullah ibn Farwa rahmatullahi. He says that Yusuf alayhi salam was so beautiful that any street or alley he would walk in, the walls along the side would shine because of the nur from his face. Just like when the sun shines into the water and the reflection falls onto a wall and it's seen very bright, this is how the nur would come out of the face of Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam. Hazrat Abu Aliya also mentioned similar. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam on the night of Mi'raj, Abu Sayyid al-Khudri is the Rawi, he says, on the night of Mi'raj, I went to the heavens. I went to the first heaven, met Adam alayhi salam. Second heaven, Isa alayhi salam and Yahya alayhi salam. Third heaven, I met Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam. And I said his beauty, one riwayat says, was it shining like his face was shining like the 14th moon, the full moon on a dark night, his light was shining. And the second riwayat says, on the night of Mi'raj, when I met Yusuf alayhi salam in the third heaven, I realized that half of the world's beauty has been given to Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam. How beautiful he was. Subhanallah. In one riwayat we find, Subhanallah, that the Sufya Ikram, Balki Sufya Ikram we mentioned, one can make a question here, okay, this means he was more beautiful than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Sufya Ikram gave an answer to this. The masters of the Tasawwuf, they said no. Yusuf alayhi salam's beauty was apparent and open. Allah, He exhibited the whole of His beauty. Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam's beauty was open, but Rasulullah's beauty was hidden. Only if you looked at him carefully with deep observation, you would see the beauty of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that is why the Sahaba Ikram say, we had seen nobody more beautiful than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he would smile. Hazrat Aisha says, I lost the needle in my house. He came in, the shine between his teeth, the whole room lit up. I found my needle in the darkness of the night. Rasulullah's beauty was way much more, but it was hidden. Rasulullah was Wasim and Qasim. Wasim, each time you look at him, his beauty increases in your eyes. Looked at him today, you looked away, you looked again, he seems more beautiful. You looked away, looked again, he seems more beautiful. The more ta'alluq you built with Rasulullah, the more beautiful he came in your eyes. And Qasim, whichever angle you saw him from, whether you saw him sitting, he looked beautiful. Whether he was lying, he was beautiful. Whether he was reclining, he was beautiful. Whether he was eating, he was beautiful. Whether he was angry, he was beautiful. Subhanallah. Whether he was joking, in every condition, Rasulullah was beautiful. That's why Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha, whilst making ta'arif of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, "Ke lawahi Zulaykha, the friends of Zulaykha, law ra'ayna jabinahu, if they had seen just the forehead of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not the women of Zulaykha, they saw the whole body of Yusuf alayhi salam, and they cooked their fingers, they cooked their hands. We'll come to that part in a short while." She said, if these same women, Lawahi Zulaykha, if they had just seen the forehead of my beloved Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam, la'atharna bil qat'il qulubi ala al-aydi, never mind cutting their fingers, they would have cut their hearts out of their chest. This is how beautiful my Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was. Hazrat Ikramah says that Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam's beauty compared to others was like the shine of the 14th moon compared to the stars. So here what happened was, when these ladies saw him, فَلَمَّا رَأَيْنَهُ, Allah says, فَلَمَّا رَأَيْنَهُ, so when they saw him, أَكْبَرْنَهُ, they found him great. Now there's a few meanings of أَكْبَرْنَهُ. One meaning, whose man can never understand this, is أَكْبَرَتِ الْمَرْأَةُ. The Arabs say, okay, when a lady becomes baligha or she starts her periods, her hair start. So when they saw him, a sudden shock, their hair started. All of a sudden, oh, look at this beautiful young man. So akbarat al-mar'atu, they became, their hair started. وَقَطَّعْنَا أَيْدِيَهُنَّ, and they were so bewildered that they cut their hands. And whilst cutting their hands, they didn't even know they were cutting their hands. So Zulaykha realized that these women had made this plan to see him. Now see him, and she gave them all a sharp knife as well. Enjoy what you are seeing, and take as much enjoyment as you want. But remember, there's a sharp knife in your hand. There's a fruit, either a citrus, orange, or a lemon in your hand, and this beautiful, young, charming, elegant, handsome boy is walking past you as well. So watch what you are doing. Imam Mujahid says, rahmatullahi, they cut their fingers so much that blood was flowing all the way down. They didn't realize. Imam Qatada says they cut their hands so much that some ladies' hands even came off, and they didn't realize what they were doing. And Imam Wahab ibn Munabbah goes a step further in Tafsir al-Madhari and says some of the ladies even gave their lives and died by seeing Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam's beauty. Allahu Akbar. So when he had walked past, they regained their senses, and then they began to, oh, our hands are hurting. Then they realized that our hands are in pain, they're bleeding, they cut, their fingers are hanging loose. And then they understood, وَقُلْنَا, and they said, وَقُلْنَا حَاشَا لِلَّهِ, and they said, oh Allah, حَاشَا لِلَّهِ, oh God, مَا هَذَا بَشَرًا, he's not a human being. مَا هَذَا بَشَرًا, إِنْ هَذَا إِلَّا مَلَكٌ كَرِيمٌ, this boy, he is but a noble angel. So Hasha Lillah, they were so shocked. How can Allah create such a beautiful creation? This is the meaning of Hasha Lillah. Oh my Allah. When we see something beautiful, Subhan, oh my God, look at this. Shocked. So when they saw him, Hasha Lillah, how can Allah create someone so beautiful? They had never seen. His beauty couldn't be compared to anything or anyone alive at that time on the face of this earth. So, ma hadha bashara, paying a tribute to his beauty and his character, they said, ma hadha bashara, he's not a human. Halaki, the aqidah is, he is a human. This is a part of our aqidah. Every Nabi of Allah is a human. No Nabi is an angel. But here they didn't say in the actual meaning, he's not a human being, but he's not a human. Like if somebody is like, we say in our muhawara, if somebody is really strong and he can lift up loads of weights, we say, but he's not a human, he's a jinn. He's a jinn here. Look how he's picking up all these weights. So we don't actually mean he's not a human. So here they just paid a tribute to the fact of his excellence. And then they said, in hadha illa malakun kareem, he is a noble angel. Because even today, anything beautiful we attribute it towards angels, because we have this persona, angels are beautiful. And anything ugly or vile, we give it the impression of a shaitan, devils are ugly. Devils are ugly, angels are beautiful. So that's why they give this simile. He is like an angel, though he was not an angel. He is still a human. No prophet of Allah is an angel. Every prophet of Allah is a human. But this was only because of the exceptional beauty of Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam. So we can't understand. We can just try to merely explain, and even that we cannot do properly, the verses of the Quran Sharif. But what they were living, the experience at the time, Allah knows best what they were undergoing at that particular time. So these ladies now said, Zulaykha, now we know that you're not at fault. We were, talking about you, that you fell in love with a slave and you did this. No. We know that you are excused. You're ma'zur. You're excused from this, and we won't say anything about you. And that's what Tafsir Ibn Kathir says. Any lady, well, it's one point, any lady that used to come to Yusuf alayhi salam, because these 5 ladies also fell in love with Yusuf alayhi salam now, just like Zulaykha was already head over heels in love with him. So any lady that used to come to visit Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam, because remember, he was the right-hand man of the Minister of Finance. He used to give mashwara. People would come to him for advice. They found him very knowledgeable, full of wisdom, full of empathy, full of sympathy, full of good counseling, ta'wil al-ahadith. He would explain events properly. Any big dilemma, nobody could understand, the whole country could understand. They'd come to Yusuf al-Islam, within a few points, he'd make out the matter, go and do this, the matter would be resolved. He had this exceptional skill from Allah. Allah says, كَذَلِكَ تَأْوِيلُ الْأَحَادِيثِ. We taught him this. لِنُعَلِّمَهُ. We taught him this, how to handle the matters easily without causing any problems. So any lady that would come to him for some mashwara or guidance, if a man came, he would talk with them. If a lady came, Hazrat Yusuf al-Islam used to cover his face. He used to put a niqab over his face and say, now talk to me. Because if he lowered his niqab, those ladies that came to talk with him would have fallen in love with him as well. So in Tafsir Ibn Kathir is mentioned, rather than making the ladies fall in temptation and do sin, he would cover his face and then he would talk to them. Allahu Akbar. Can you imagine how beautiful this person must have been? So Zulaykha, now she said to the ladies, now you have only just seen a glimpse of him, and you are going head over heels in love. What about me? He grew up in my lap. I played with him when he was a small child. I looked after him, I clothed him, I fed him, I nurtured him, I did this for him. Now he has grown up full of hukman wa ilma. Now he has got prophethood, he has got wisdom, he has got faculty of understanding, he's got all of these great. Now he's on his prime, his youth in the prime. Now I want him, I wish to fulfill my desires. I have tried seducing him in every manner possible, but this person just will not break. I can't do it. So when she began to speak to the ladies now, first she was hiding a secret, her secret affair of loving Yusuf alayhi salam. Now she got it out, so she vented out all her emotions. I feel this for him, and I feel this for him, and women's habits, I feel this for him. So the lady said, yes, we're with you, yes, we understand. But Tafsir mentions, on the outside, each lady was saying, yes, I understand your plight. But each one inside wanted Yusuf for herself. Each one was thinking of her own plan. I'm going to get a few moments and spend time with Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam myself and make him love me and say to him, Zulaykha is not all that, look at me, I'm better than her. And the second one would say, she is not all that, speak with me, I'm better than her. And this was the makr. Allahu Akbar. So now Zulaykha, she used these women to soften the resistance of Yusuf alayhi salam. Now I've got a group. First I was alone, I tried. I praised his hair, I said, your hair are beautiful. He said, my hair will be separate in the qabr. I said, Yusuf, your eyes are beautiful. He said, my eyes will be the first one that will pop out and water will come down them in my qabr. I said, Yusuf, your face is beautiful. He replied saying to me, when I go in the qabr, the mitti will eat my face. I even made a bedding for him. I put on beautiful clothes for him. I put on nice, and Zulaykha was very beautiful herself as well. She had a lot of charm and beauty, elegance in her as well. A notable lady. She made a silken duvet bedding for him. She showed him the bedding. He said, if I go on that bedding, then there's nothing for me the hereafter. So she tried everything. Nothing worked. Now she's got a gang. She's got a group of women together. Now they're all going to try together. So the women then approached Yusuf and said, oh Yusuf, what are you doing? Such an important lady. She's done so much for you. Now, ihsan jitlana. They are enumerating the favors. She did this for you. She did this for you. And each lady has her khaish and her want. She needs you. Why don't you listen to her? Why don't you fulfill her desire? She's your mistress. You're the slave. You're not allowed to say no. You have to obey every command. So they all kind of ganged up on him. And they all wanted him to fall prey to this sin, but on the outward for Zulaykha, but inwardly for them own selves. So each one began to suggest their different methods. Allah Ta'ala then says in the Quran, قالت, Zulaykha then said. Now when Zulaykha, she tried all the nice, gentle, soft, delicate approach, it didn't work. So she said, she thought I would try another approach. What she did now was, فَذَلِكُنَّ الَّذِي لُمْتُنَّنِي فِيهِ. She said, this is he you blamed me for. Now you've seen him yourself. وَلَقَدْ رَاوَدْتُهُ عَنْ نَفْسِي. Yes, I seduced him. فَاسْتَعْصَمْ, but he abstained. And now what will I do? Because I can't break him, I can't crack him. So what will I do? وَلَئِنْ لَمْ يَفْعَلْ مَا آمُرُ. And should he not follow my command, if he doesn't listen to me now and give in to my desires and my wants and needs, لَا يُسْجَنَنَّ, I'm going to imprison him. لَا يُسْجَنَنَّ, he shall be imprisoned. وَلِيَكُونَ مِنَ الصَّاغِرِينَ, and he will be disgraced. So now she, because of a dark passion, the lure inside, she is now beginning to show her brute passion, not her soft sympathetic love, but her brute passion. I will do this to him if he doesn't listen to me. I will do this to him if he doesn't listen to me. Now she's showing a different side. So when she mentioned he will be imprisoned, so Yusuf al-Islam's mind straight away went towards prison. He said, yes, this is the way out. This is my escape way. So imagine a man inside a palace, the husband's not there, and 5, 6 women, beautiful, young, rich, ذات منصب وجمال, as a hadith mentions. 7 people under the arsh of Allah. One of them will be when دعته رجل دعته امرأة ذات منصب وجمال, when a rich, notable, beautiful woman calls you for zina, فقال إني أخاف الله, and you say, I can't, I fear Allah, you will be under the arsh of Allah on the day of Qiyamah. So now he's in this particular situation, and she mentioned prison. So the women again, they tried, look, she's your benefactor, she's doing this for you. And when she mentioned the word prison, and all the women were in joint consultation trying to make him listen to her, he kept on resisting their wants. She tried harder, she went more lower. The tide of passion, ulama say, it built up inside her, it was rising. So she said, I'm going to get you in prison, and at prison you'll get beaten up, and people will torture you, and this will happen to you. So she began to try all these different methods. Then she said, you'll be disgraced, people will know that you tried doing zina with me, and I will be free, I'll be innocent. All the guilt will be on you, and you'll be inside. The prison is the one who did zina with the minister's wife. So she wanted to try these methods, but still he would not break. This is called tawfiq of Allah. Allah blesses this tawfiq. This is called tawfiq of Allah. Ulama of tafsir have said, when a person is drunk in sin, he doesn't realize what he is doing. Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran Sharif, La amruka, he swears by the life of Rasulullah. This is one of the highest qasams in the Quran. Allah swears by the life of Rasulullah. La amruka, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I, Allah, swear by your life. Innahum lafi sakratihim ya'mahun. They were drunk, they were intoxicated, wandering blindly in their guna and their sins. So when a person does sins and is stooped so low in sins, watch his behavior, watch what they do. They are doing such silly things. They don't care about anyone anymore. Allahu Akbar. You see somebody who becomes excessively angry, he'll smash his phone.
But he'll pick the laptop, he'll smash the laptop. 500 pound worth of laptop. He smashes the laptop. And people watch it, Ya Allah, what's wrong with this person? Because he's drunk in sin. Excessive anger is sin. When the person is drunk in zina, for example, he does such risks he takes, and he does zina. And he doesn't care. When a person is taking drugs, he will take drugs. And he might even get high, or he might even become intoxicated, but he's not bothered no more. Because he is drunk in the nasha of this sin. And that's what they say, sin is zillat. Sin is disgrace. And ita'at is izzat from Allah. Allah Ta'ala saves us all from the zillat and the disgrace of sins. And Allah Ta'ala pulls us out of this and make us walk through the door of izzat and ita'at of Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala. So this was the situation that had happened now. So Yusuf al-Islam then said to himself, I'd rather go to prison. I would rather go into prison than to fall for this sin. And here another point for the youngsters who are listening is a lot of the sins that the youngsters do in high schools or in colleges or in universities or in workplaces is due to peer pressure. Okay, we're hanging around with 3-4 lads in a car, we're driving, one of them will take some weed, take some drugs, take some cannabis, take some heroin. So if you're in the car, you don't smoke. But you say, "Bait, chalo, 2 of them start smoking, you're the third." You don't want to be the odd one out there. You don't want to be the one who doesn't seem part of the crew. So chalo bhai, I'll have some as well. Peer pressure. Probably now we're already making intentions. Okay, on the day of Eid, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. We're not making our timetable. Allah safeguard all of us. So, under peer pressure, Yusuf al-Islam did not crack. And this is what we should learn. No matter whatever happens, I will not disobey my Allah. The whole world, now here, physically, is like the whole world was against Yusuf al-Islam to force him, subjugate him to do a sin. He said, do what you want, I will prefer prison. What kind of a prison was it? Allahu Akbar. It wasn't like no prison like today. It was a dungeon cell. It was like a fortress where all the dangerous of the dangerous criminals would go, and all the political offenders would go on the borders of Palestine, and a fortress called Saru. A very notorious prison. Okay, no, that's the last place you want to go to. He said, I prefer to go there. Take me there. I will live there rather than live in a life of sin. Allahu Akbar. This is the resolve that every single person should have. Forget the lizzat of sins. Look at the lizzat Allah has kept for us in the hereafter. Continuing before I go off my topic. So he turned now to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, oh Allah, I turn to you and I make dua. So he made a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now he's in a condition called halati istirar. Halati istirar is, you can't do nothing. There's nothing else left for you. And Allah says, أَفَمَنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُسْتَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ. When you're in a condition of istirar, you're helpless, Allah says, who is it who responds to you then? When everyone's gone against you, who do you turn to? The threshold of Allah, the door of Allah is open. فَمَنْ يَكْشِفُ السُّوء إِذَا دَعَاهُ يَكْشِفُ السُّوء. Who takes with difficulty? So he lifted his hand, he said, قَالَ رَبِّ السِّجْنُ أَحَبُّ إِلَيَّ مِمَّا يَدْعُونَنِ إِلَيْهِ. He said, oh my Rabb, the prison is dearer to me than what these women invite me to do. Allahu Akbar. He chose, look, he is in a grand palace, a mansion of the most influential, powerful man in Egypt, which is one of the superpowers of the world at the time. He's got so much respect, dignity and honor there. But because a sin was coming close to him, he didn't go to the sin. Nabi of Allah, the Ismatul Anbiya, each prophet is divinely protected by Allah. They can't do major sin or minor sin. The sin was coming towards him. He wouldn't go towards the sin. But because it was coming his way, he was innocent. He said, I will rather choose to go to prison and live there and let my life pass there than do this sin and displease my Allah. That's why Shaykh Mawlānā Sājid mentions in one of his talks, rahmatullah, he says, okay, you only acquire Allah's muhabbat after you sacrifice the hardship of a sin. If a person wants to become Allah's friend and at the same time he's taking drugs, he wants to become Allah's friend and he's still taking alcohol, he wants to be Allah's friend and he's disobeying Rasulullah, he wants to be Allah's friend, he wants Jannat, he wants all of the goodness of this world and hereafter, and still he's disobeying Allah and the Rasul. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا. Whoever struggles in our path, لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. Allah will open the ways for him to reach me. Allah give us tawfiq, subhanallah. So you have to take the karwa gaunt, the hard, the bitter pill of leaving sin No hurdle is too high to jump. Allah will lift us up, inshallah. And then on the other side, we will see what Allah has for us. So he said, Ya Rab, the prison is dearer to me than what these women invite me to do. And then he said, وَإِلَّا تَصْرِفْ عَنِّي كَيْدَهُنَّ. He did not rely upon his own self. He didn't say, I'm Nabi of Allah, I have ismat, I am ma'soom, my ma'soomness will save me. No, he turned towards Allah. He said, وَإِلَّا تَصْرِفْ عَنِّي. Oh my Rabb, unless you do not turn the makr away from me, كَيْدُهُنَّ أَصْبُ إِلَيْهِنَّ, I shall get inclined towards them. Halaki, he wasn't going to get inclined towards them. He was just showing that I am a weak person. And this, Wallah, I'm asking you for your fadl, وَأَكُمْ مِنَ الْجَاهِلِينَ, and I shall be amongst the ignorant. Imam Tabari here mentions this prison. It was called Baytul Habs, the House of Humidity. It was a dark, hot, stench-filled prison where just the prison itself was like death. And he chose this prison. Imam Tibrani in his tafsir says, Yusuf al-Islam thought, أَسْهَلُ إِلَيَّ وَأَهْوَنُ مِنْ وُقُوعِ فِي الْمَعْصِيَةِ. I'd rather suffer in the prison than suffer by doing this sin. So he chose to go inside this sin. Allah, continuing here. Now look here. Yusuf al-Islam, another lesson we learn. Always rely upon Allah. Allah give us tawfiq. Never say, oh, alhamdulillah, I have not looked at a woman in the wrong sense for so many months. I haven't done nothing. No. Never show up with your condition. Never say, alhamdulillah, I pray Quran good. I am a hafiz, my Quran is perfect. I am a alim, my knowledge is good. Allah can snatch everything away overnight. Never do naz, alhamdulillah, I am youthful, I am handsome, I have influence, I am authoritative, people listen to me. Allah can change the overnight and grant you zillat. Allah safeguard all of us. Any kamal in your life, back towards Allah. Everything to Allah. Hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. As we explained yesterday, everything is tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he never rely on your ilm, your power, your honor, your profession, your aql, your intelligence, only towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now here, there's one point, Tafsir Khazin says, Yusuf al-Islam's mind straightway went to the prison when she said the word prison. But if he didn't ask for prison, Allah wouldn't have given him prison. But he asked for prison. Because he asked for a prison, Allah answered his dua and sent him to prison. At that time, if he asked Allah for afiyat, oh Allah grant me afiyat, Allah would have granted him afiyat. One Sahabi was saying, oh Allah grant me sabr, oh Allah grant me sabr. So the Prophet said, don't ask for sabr, ask Allah for afiyat. Always ask Allah for afiyat. Means safety and well-being as much as you can. Hazrat Abbas came to Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the uncle of Rasulullah, teach me a dua, ask Allah for afiyat. So he would ask Allah, Allah wa inni as'aluka al-afiyah, Allah wa inni as'aluka al-afwa wal-afiyah. After a few days, a few weeks, a few months, Ya Rasulullah, teach me another dua now. Rasulullah then said, now ask Allah for afiyat fi dunya wal akhirah, in this world and the hereafter, because whoever has afiyat, he has everything. Allah blesses the afiyat. Allahumma inni as'aluka al-afwa wal afiyata fi dini wa dunya wal akhirah. This is a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So because his mind went towards prison, he just asked for prison. So Allah Ta'ala said, okay, you ask for prison, you can go to prison. That's one interpretation. The second interpretation is that every Nabi's dua is from Allah. So Allah wished for him to go in prison, and Allah Ta'ala accepted the dua, and he made the means for him to go inside prison. Because he knew at that time, to physically get away from this sin, I would need to go somewhere where I could have access to them, and prison was the only place. And then he said, asbu ilayhinna, the word asbu from the word saba'a yasbu, to lean towards something, to desire something. So he said, if Allah, you don't save me, if your fadl is not with me, I may lean towards them. Junayd Baghdadi, ulama have said, Junayd Baghdadi and Rabia Basriya. Junayd Baghdadi, Sultan al-Awliya. Rabia Basriya, great wali Allah. Even if these two are alone, illa thalithahuma ash-shaytan, the third one is shaitan with them. No one should ever for a split moment think, my piety will protect me. Never. Well, okay, a few weeks ago when we met Hazrat Mawlānā Sājid Irshād, after one of the programs, then he sat in the back. We sat with him, a few of the brothers from Burnley. So he was saying, always ask Allah for afiyat, always ask Allah for husni khatimah. Then he mentioned a story. There was an Abdal. Abdal is the highest rank in Bazur. You have Ghawth and Qutub al-Aqtab and big, Wilayat Siddiqa and Walayat Khasa. Abdal is one of the highest levels. He says, at the time of his death, His wife came shouting, screaming out of his room and holding her head. Somebody asked the lady, why are you crying for? Your husband is Abaddon, he's about to pass away. He said, just right now he said the words of kufr and shirk and he has passed away. The time of death, Abaddon, he's left this world with kufr and shirk. Who are me and you, my dear friends? What is our condition? Never have naz, my sajda is good, my ruku is good, my charity is good, my tilawat is good. What tawfiq you get is fadl of Allah. And if you don't ask Allah for His fadl. So he said, Akum min al-jahilin. Wallah, if you don't save me, halaka, he's Nabi of Allah, he's saved already. But he's teaching us a lesson, ask Allah to be saved. And Ma'arif al-Quran, Hadrat Mufti Muhammad Shafi Sahib said, Rahmatullahi, every sin is caused by jahalat and ignorance. And opposite of ignorance is ilm and knowledge. And ilm and knowledge demands abstention from sins, to stay away from sins. Imam al-Qurtubi also has mentioned the same. So having knowledge is important to be saved from sin. If somebody doesn't have knowledge, that alcohol is haram, or fasting is farad, or namaz is farad, etc., he won't get the tawfiq to do it. He'll be doing zina of his eyes. He'll think, what's wrong with watching a lady on the TV screen if she's giving news? It's fine. What Rasulullah says, zina al-ayn, another. Looking at a lady without any purpose is zina of the eyes. Why are we doing that? We don't realize. Zina al-ayn, another. Zina al-lisan, al-mantiq. The zina of the tongue is to talk with a lady and enjoy her conversation and get a boost from her voice. Zina of the tongue. Zina of the ears, listening to the sweet sound of the ladies. Listening to the words, the gentle speech. Zina of the mind, thinking. Zina of the heart, feeling. Zina of the feet, walking. All these, and then what happens? Then the heart, tatamanna wa tashtahi, the heart wishes. And then wal faraj, yusaddiqu or yukaddibu. Then the private organ, after seeing, touching, meeting, smelling her fragrance, hearing her voice, meeting her, then the private part will either accept it or deny it. And that's when a person does zina. So Rasulullah has cut you off from the starting. لَعَنَ اللَّهُ النَّاظِرُ وَالْمَنْظُورُ إِلَيْهِ. Allah Ta'ala sends curse upon the one who looks towards women and the women who show themselves to others. Allah Ta'ala protect us, give us tawfiq to live and die upon this aspect, inshallah. So ilm is important. Allah ibn Sarir would say, إِنَّ هَذَا الْعِلْمَ دِينٌ. This ilm you learn, this is your deen. فَانْظُرُوا أَمَّنْ تَأْخُذُونَ دِينَكُمْ. Know very carefully who you take your deen from, because deen is knowledge. If knowledge is correct, your deen is correct. If your knowledge is incorrect, your deen is incorrect. Many people, they sit down like this in front of ladies and give bayan. They say it's fine. Who said it's haram? It's perfectly fine. Their knowledge is incorrect. Their deen is incorrect. If a Nabi of Allah is teaching us, I be my ismat, I ask Allah for His fadl to be safe from this, how can an alim ad-deen or a dokabaz peer or some jelly peer say, I'm sitting here and women come in front of me, so Mu'amil making ta'weez, got women sitting in front of him, blowing on them, touching them. How is this jaiz in Islam? It's not jaiz in Islam. But a person's heart goes towards it because his knowledge is incorrect, so his deen interpretation will also be incorrect. Allah Ta'ala safeguard all of us and realize, my dear friends, this is a trick and treachery of shaitan and nafs, and a person should refrain from such matter. Rasulullah never did this. Sahaba Ikram never did this. Okay, let's go to an amil, get a ta'weez, and the lady sitting in front of him and he's talking to them, he's touching them, he's asking them questions. Rasulullah never touched any female's hand apart from his wife's hands. When they would even come for bait, it would be verbal bait. If he saw her hand, he wouldn't see the face. If he saw her hand, he would say, is this the hand of a man or a lady? And they would say, this is the hand of a lady. He said, put some mendi on your hand to give a distinctive effect that this is the hand of a lady and not the hand of a man. He never looked towards anybody. And today we make it jaiz to look towards people. And then we say, okay, my heart is clean. How can this possibly be? How can we possibly think my taqwa level is so high that I can talk to a girl normally, give a bayan to her, counsel her, and nothing happens to my heart? This person is lying.
Big lie.
Here, Yusuf al-Islam is teaching us, oh Allah, I'm telling you to turn me away from here, send me to prison. I don't want to fall into this sin. Halanki, he wasn't going to fall into this sin. Allah Ta'ala here says, فَاسْتَجَابَ لَهُ رَبُّ. So Allah accepted his dua. فَصَرَفَ عَنْهُ كَيْدَهُنْ. And turned their guile, their makar away from him. إِنَّهُ هُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. Surely he is all hearing, the all knowing. Tafsir Jalani, it is mentioned, Sufi Ikram Tafsir, ke Sami' li munajati ibadi. Allah hears the whispers of His servants. And Alim, he means bihajatihim minha. Allah knows the whole of the needs of His servants. Imam Abu Talib al-Makki in his Tafsir says, ki Alim means bimaslihati khalqi. Every single expediency of his humans, of his makhluk, the benefit, the gain, the profit. Allah Ta'ala knows all of it, and He acts according to this. So now Allah Ta'ala made arrangements, finishing off. Allah Ta'ala made arrangements for Aziz Misr to become convinced of this fact. But Aziz Misr, the Minister of Finance, he loved Yusuf alayhi salam, yet he loved his wife. And he was one of those people whose wife was very influential, as we have seen right now. So she would say something to him, he would say yes. So now he's stuck between a decision: keep Yusuf, or do I keep my wife Zulaykha? Now she's a beautiful, young, elegant lady. Yusuf, he loves him. He could see, okay, this person is a great person. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud says, okay, 3 people made such a decision that no one else could have made with their firasat. One was Abu Bakr Siddiq, when he chose Hazrat Umar to be the next Khalifa. And one of them was Aziz Misr, the Minister of Finance, when he saw Yusuf alayhi salam in the marketplace of slaves, and he said, I will choose him and make him like my son, or he will grant his benefit. So he made a good choice of choosing him. So he knew Yusuf very well. But now the rumors had gone out of the palace walls. And now any high-ranking family in society, more important for them is their reputation. Any rich, prestigious, high-ranking family in the community, to them their name means everything. Oh, I can't get badnaam, bhai. Here, go and give some bribery. Wipe away my name. Don't let people find out it happened from this house. Pin the blame on him and her. Don't let the matter come to my house. So what these people did, the matter went out to the palace walls. The whole women of the town began to talk about this. So he decided, I think I should prison Yusuf alayhi salam for a short while, because I don't want the doubt in my family. When the talk of the town will die down in due course, Zulaykha will forget about him, then I'll call him back out of prison again. So for this, he made the next, the matter became clear to him. Allah Ta'ala says, final ayat, ثُمَّ بَدَى لَهُمْ, later on, even after having seen the signs, مَا رَأَوُ الْآيَاتِ لَا يَسْجُنُنَّهُ حَتَّى حِينٍ, then he deemed it proper to imprison him for a time. So he saw some ayat, some signs. What was the sign he saw? Number 1, ulama say, he saw Yusuf Islam's innocence. He remembered that baby speaking from the cradle, as we said yesterday, who gave witness regarding Yusuf Islam's case. He saw the qamis ripped from the back. He saw the women cutting off their hands. But after all of this, he still decided to send him to the jail. So what he did, he made up a story. He took the matter to the court. The judge would decide. The judge looked at the situation, heard both sides of the stories. The judge asked for the qamis. Bring me the qamis. He looked at the qamis. He saw it is ripped from the back. He said, he's not guilty, but still send him to the prison. Allahu Akbar. Innocent person now being sent to the prison. And this only was so the reputation of the wife of the minister doesn't suffer. And this happens today as well. The rich, affluent people, they will do bribery. The rules are for the weak and the feeble ones, and for the rich and high people, they get away with lots of things. So Imam Tafsir al-Madhari mentions that now everyone found out regarding her makr. The whole town is talking about it now. She became so embarrassed. She got a bad reputation, a bad name. So she went to Aziz Misr. Oh, Aziz Misr, this is your responsibility. Either let me go out into the streets and let me go and visit all the people and tell them I'm innocent, or send him to prison. So he chose the prison for him, and he was sent inside prison for 9 years, 11 years. This inshallah we'll mention tomorrow with the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But here we learn, he chose mushaqqat, this is the final point. He chose difficulty over ease, because the difficulty involved him being free from sin and acquiring Allah's muhabbat, and the ease here would involve him doing sin. And we learn ki ad-dunya, the Prophet said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ad-dunya sijnul mu'min. All of us here, the Prophet said, this world is your prison. Just like this prison became for Yusuf al-Islam, this world is your prison. You will have difficulty here. You want to do zina, but you swallow that bitter pill and you don't. You want to take intoxicants, but you don't, because you're in prison. You're not free. And the Prophet said, "Wa jannatul kafir." This world is kafir. This world is jannat for the kafir. But have sabr, a few days. Eventually, a time will come when you will live forever and ever in the real abode of Jannat of Allah, and Allah Ta'ala will save you forever and ever from the fire of Jahannam. Allah Ta'ala bless all of us the tawfiq and honor and izzat. Allah Ta'ala give us tawfiq to make amal upon what has been said today. So Yusuf Islam now goes to prison, and in prison a few events happen. One of them, he meets 2 people in prison. They both have a dream, and they come and bring their dream to him, and they ask for interpretation. This inshallah will continue tomorrow. Allah Ta'ala give all of us tawfiq. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wa salamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.